In today's video, we're going to talk about loading up prescriptions onto a monitor. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is plug your thumb drive into your computer and create a folder, capital R, lowercase x, and then within that folder you're going to want to put your shape files. As you see here, I wrote a prescription for the Anders field for soybeans. When it goes to naming these things, the monitor will accept no more than 20 characters, so you want to make sure in your name you understand which prescription goes with which field and not have it over more than 20 characters. You also want to stay away from special characters such as apostrophes or periods or dots, things like that. The monitors tend to not like things like that. So once you get your shape files within a capital R lowercase x folder on the thumb drive, you're going to want to export that out. And then we'll take that straight to our 2630 display here, plug it in, and you'll have a window just like this pop up. So the first option is to export data. We're looking for the import global prescriptions and shape files, so on here we'll click that. Then you're going to have a few options there. You can import a prescription, you can replace prescriptions, or you can manage your RX list. So if you was to have prescriptions saved on there from last year, you're going to want to delete those out by checking those and hitting the delete selected data down here. So I'm not going to do that today. So if you was going to import those, you'd hit import RX, green bar would come across your screen and read those in. So once that was done, take your thumb drive out, go to your document right here, main menu GS3 document. You have your screen where you set up which seed type you're running, the variety that you're running across the rows, and then you're going to hit this RX button down here. This is going to take you to the screen right here. You're going to hit your drop down. You would come in here to shape file, drop that list down, and then you would select your prescription, and you would fill in all these columns. So product type is going to be seeds by seed count. You type in your out of boundary rate that you want. So if it's corn, you know, if you're running 30,000 seeds, 32,000 seeds per acre, you would type that in, your out of field rate, as well as your loss of GPS. So what that means is if you lose signal, it's going to default to the 32,030, whatever you type in there. And your out of field rate means if you get with outside that boundary, with outside that prescriptions, then it will put in the default rate that you have put in there. So if I hit accept here, that would go ahead and convert that. And then I would hit my drop down list again, and I'm looking for Anders soybeans. Type that in. Now it gives me kind of a description here, my min, my max rate, my out of field, my loss of GPS. Look ahead time, I usually put about half the speed that my customers are running. So if they're running 5 miles an hour, I'm going to put 2 seconds in there. Basically what that's doing is looking ahead of the tractor 2 seconds, and if it sees a rate change, just kind of gearing up before I actually get there, or kind of slowing it down if it's going to run a less amount. You have your prescription multiplier here. So if a guy decides, hey, I'm going to change hybrids, or I'm not going to plant that variety, whatever it may be, and maybe it calls for a little more or a little less, he could type in 105% there and plant 5% more. He could type in 95% there and plant 5% less, whichever he is after. So I'm good with this. I'm going to accept it. And now as you see here, it's showing my prescription, Anders soybeans. So I can come over here to my main menu, go to my planner tab, and I set this page up. So I'm planting soybeans. I don't want to use one rate for all motors in case I get into part of the prescription where my left side of my planner is within one side of it and my right side of the planner is in another prescription rate. So I'm going to uncheck that, and then I'm going to go to show rates, and I'm going to make sure that rate 6 is turned on. That's my prescription rate. So right now it's off, so I hit change rates, and I come in here to rate 6 in my drop down, and I'm going to turn that on. Alright, so now I hit accept. And now you see instead of off, I have a little RX symbol there that's showing up. So once I set all that up, I could also come in here to my main menu, GS3, and go to my mapping tab. And then I could come in here to map settings. And my background right now, you see, is set to NH3 2019. So I come in here, I want it to set it to Anders soybeans. And basically what that'll do, and I won't be able to see it today here, but that would put my prescription map in the background of here, and my coverage would paint over the top of it, so I could see a visual of when this planter needs to be changing rates as I'm going throughout the field. So that's kind of a step-by-step process of loading up a prescription and being able to ready to run it as you go into the field. At this point, we'd better ready to start planting, and the prescription would take over for us and plant the rates that it needed to, depending on what part of the field we're in.